what can I use topically for itchy and yeasty skin? I'm currently working with a functional vet addressing the inside. So for topical itchy yeasty skin, I would dive into the discussion that I had with Dr. Sharice Roth, and also with Dr. Joy Griffin. So I think shampoos hugely valuable. If we think of shampoos, we've got a spectrum. We've got our at one end of the spectrum, we've got our kind of cheap as chips soap-based shampoos, which should be avoided at all costs. They dry the skin. They kind of cause more problems than they solve, especially in a dog with allergies. We've then got our more basic maintenance shampoos and shampooing is a huge part of maintaining an allergic dog. We've got our oatmeal based shampoos that are much more gentle, that can have a hydrating effect, and one of the big reasons that shampoos help is that they help wash all of the allergens, all of the substances that collect in the coat away, so that they're not just stimulating dogs. We then have our maintenance shampoos that have been shown to have a much better anti-itch function. One that I like is Duxo Calm, and that's been proven to have a really good anti-itch function, and is something that we should be thinking about using for dogs that are currently having a flare-up, but they do not have the presence of infection or anything else. It may be switching to that at the start of a bit of a flare-up, just to help settle everything down and reset the system. We've then got other shampoos. If your dog has got a particularly oily or greasy coat, if they've got a flaky, dandruffy coat, then we can be using a shampoo that is appropriate for that. One is Duxo Seb. Sebolytic is another one. There's a few different ones, and that's designed specifically to help improve the skin quality and again settle the itch. And then we've got shampoos for dogs that have got who've got an infection. Topical use of shampoos for dogs with infections is fantastic. There's a couple of different types. We've got those with an antifungal agent and an antibacterial agent at certain concentrations. The popular one here is something called Malaseb, and then we've got those that just have an antibacterial. It's a different concentration. It's chlorhexidine, 3%. 3%. Yeah, I think that's right. That's been shown to be just as effective, and if we're using that topically, then that is going to tackle the vast majority of infections that are superficial. If we're dealing with a deep infection, if your dog is very sore in particular areas and won't allow you to shampoo, if it's difficult to reach areas, then we may need to reach for our oral antibiotics, but in the vast majority of cases, our topical shampoos are beneficial. So there's a whole range. So depending on kind of the situation for your dog, I'd be recommending one of those as a starting point.
Natural dog flea and tick control can be difficult to implement. No matter what we try to keep our dogs healthy and safe, they will eventually come into contact with ticks and fleas when they go outside. Here's what you need to know to make sure your dog gets the flea protection they need with as little risk to their health as possible.